are always opportunities in the market, but if you don't have cash in such scenarios, then it would be I mean, people feel left out, just like in I mean, when the market is making all time highs, we observe the FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Likewise, in such market, people are always or most of the time short of cash. So basically, we also have to strategize and keep a certain amount of cash with us, so that in case when the market reacts this way, we should be in a position to, I mean, average down or enter new businesses. If we don't have any cash in such cases, what people do is they try to time the market and sell out their position and try to enter, and that doesn't work most of the time. So basically, if we are prepared beforehand, we will be very better placed. So anybody else in the audiences want to ask any question or they want to add to this space, they are more than welcome. They can send a speaker request to me, and I'll approve, and we can proceed with the, I mean, the space. So basically, we were discussing today's fall and how one should look at this fall and going forward. And basically, these are the opportunities one should try to grab, as in the long term, the values, the businesses added at value gives a good return. So Yash or Rajendra ji, if you have to add anything, or we may request questions from the audiences.
Yes, yes, yes. See, changing environment, nothing has remained very long term. Long term has itself, the concept has been shortened. There need to be continuously churning of the portfolio that is required, because sector, because EV, though we say it is not been market is not yet confident about EV opportunities likely to come. Again, these EV related stocks have fallen sharply in the uncertain conditions. Only thing, sometimes euphoria has been created, but as long as it is not backed by the financial results and the opportunities, uh, tangible opportunities, this investment in the new this EV, other sectors, or the business intelligence, it will take time. It will not happen very fast, and there will be always fall in those shares. Then again they will climb. We have seen the period when the market was continuously being at a certain level for a long time. I am afraid that we may not enter into this. No doubt, economy is doing very well. That's why will not go to that phase. But still, some sectors like consumer durables or FMCG sectors, those will take a long time to give some good returns. And IT, what we were uh, been banking upon, now today they have, you see, it has given the highest fall in the IT sector. That's why the retail investor is confused.
Rajendra ji, very well said by you. And the retail investors are always confused until an market teaches them or they get to learn things on their own. So basically, it is not about EV only. There were many narratives doing round in the market, and if those narratives are not supported by the numbers or maybe the growth in the company or the sector as a whole, then it is very likely that market will revert to its mean, and the valuations will be reversed to mean. As we were discussing in previous space, basically the new age businesses which were I mean, the newly introduced IPOs which were available at very high valuations. So if we see today's fall, they have bore the brunt of today's fall more than anything else. So these things are very common in the market. As a retail investor, the idea should be to learn the nuances of the market, right? And if we were talking about the March fall, and from there we have seen all time high on our indexes, so that was basically for two reasons. As the COVID crash has formed a low base, that was one, and the growth in the economy and the economic cycle, and basically the earnings of the companies have supported the rise in the indexes and other businesses. So we should not worry about such falls. In fact, we should be greedy when everyone is fearful. So these kind of situations are very normal in the market. So this will continue on and on. So those who are prepared, they know that these are the best opportunities to add to good businesses. So we have May 27 Capital with us. So if you have any question or anything to add, m- just unmute yourself and go ahead. And please make sure everyone who is speaking, please limit your talks to 1 or 2 minutes, right? We will be inviting other peoples for Q&A and adding value to the space. Thank you. May 27.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for hosting the space. So I would like to continue the discussion that was happening in the past space as well. So, as fellow retail investors, I think the most important thing for us to understand is that we need to know the difference between numbers and the narratives. And now, Rajendra sir has been talking about EV. So I know that everybody else is very positive about the industry theme and everything else, but today's fall in the tech IPOs is a specific example. Why I'm saying this is because I have a couple of friends who invested in Paytm and Zomato, and their reasons were key. Whenever they went on roads, they saw Zomato delivery agents everywhere. So at face value, they thought that Zomato would be doing very well. And for Paytm, they said the same thing, that it is everywhere. The QR codes and everything, all the payments are today done through Paytm, so it has to make money at some point in time. So it doesn't work that way, and unfortunately, we are driven by our emotions, and emotions react very soon to narratives rather than numbers. So it's really okay if, as retail investors, we do not understand certain things. It doesn't bite us much to hire an advisor who can help us build wealth with whatever savings we have, but just don't go on the go thinking that if everybody is doing equity and F&O and O and other stuff and making money, I might as well do the same. So please think about the narrative versus the numbers. If all the narratives are backed by the numbers, even now, I think other than Tata Motors, I really don't see any other two-wheeler or four-wheeler company doing great in the EV space right now. So it is too early. Please don't burn your hands just like how the tech folks did today. So that is just a thought that I would like to share with fellow investors. Thank you.
Thanks for adding value. So as we were discussing, like see we in every aspect of life, be it your personal lives, professional lives, or your investing lives, you will find planning is one thing which everyone should adhere to, right? And because if we go by planning and we have a checklist of things, we will be in a very better position all the time. So specifically when it comes to investing, and those who are just beginning their career, they should be very clear why they need to invest. Secondly, they should know what are the different asset classes which are available to them for the investing, right? And based on their circle of competence and understanding and background, what kind of risk or reward they are seeking, right? Because if we go by words of others, or if we are seeking tips, or maybe some friend, family, or anybody is influencing them and they are not doing their due diligence, in such cases
I think we lost you there. Your voice is not audible.
So, okay, we will continue. The idea was basically one should, whatever we should do in our life, it has to be supported by some rationale or some study backing it, right? Investing in it is simple, but it is not easy. We have to do our due diligence in all the, I mean, it is not like one day activity. You just did investing and you should sit tight, or perhaps, or even too much monitoring is also not good, but you should be aware what business you are in and why you have invested. And if in it is in mutual funds, then also you have to see various aspects and other asset classes, maybe gold class or maybe real estate, etc. So without wasting time, we also have Pramesh with us. So I would request Pramesh to unmute himself and speak for today's market call or anything you want to add to space. Thank you. And also, if anybody else want to ask any questions, they make a send request or they want to add anything for 1 or 2 minutes in the space, they are more than welcome.
Good evening, everybody. So today's fall was something which was very unexpected from all the way, and it was a very slow and gradual fall, eroding all your gains, or it was also hitting a lot of your stop losses and all. So I am as a retail investor. When such days happen, I always wait for the market to correct or bounce back or something like that. Till that time, I took no actions. Yes, whatever my stop losses hits in my trading portfolio, that I exit without any what you call emotions in it. I mean, if I continue to have those into my portfolio, then I am actually bleeding it further. So I don't want those kind of losses. And my stop losses is typically my stop losses around 9% at best, and it depends also on the setup also. Because some of them, most of them I trade on a technical setup also. So wherever it hit, and obviously today lots of them had got hit. So I did exit many of those stocks into it. With some experience, I had kept some of them only for the sake of the fact that bounce हो जाएगा तो देखेंगे. But I know for sure कि ये नहीं हुआ तो I will have to definitely take those stop losses. So one thing I did today was without any emotions, I did that. If you have not done that, because this is the most important, because capital saved is if you will have some opportunities to go forward, add something. So today I had opportunities, but I did not have money, to be very honest, because I was fully invested. But now tomorrow, if something more falls, I will have quite a money to, because I know I took some of the stop losses today, and I have some cash available now to invest. So it is very important that stop loss is being taken in this market. Don't judge anything in this market. Don't fall for any other narrative कि ये 14,000 हो जाएगा and 15,000 हो जाएगा and all those things. Just go by how the market mark your levels. Go by that. If you are a core investor portfolio, if you are 80% or 90% of your portfolio is for long term purpose, just then does not matter at all. In fact, if the market comes to 15,000, you consider this as an opportunity. Makes up available cash available at that point of time and buy more. So for long term portfolio investors, this is something which is a godsend opportunity. Consider it like that, and add in few quantities. Don't add in an all in bulk. That would be something which I would like to leave at the table for everybody to think on. Take your stop losses if you are trading for long term portfolio. Use this as to accumulate some of your stocks. Thank you.
Thank you, Pramesh. Very rightly said. Those who are investing for long term or their time horizons are long, and some are doing some momentum trading or maybe STBT kind of thing, and some are into trading. So basically, whatever you do in the market, your concept should be very clear, and we should not be attached with any business or any scripts as such. We should be very practical in the market, right? Because emotions will be the biggest roadblocks for creating wealth in the market. And apart from this, whatever you are doing, it is better to understand the nuances and subject matter so that you should be in a position to take a rational decision, right? Market won't be same all the time. It was very euphoric times last 18 20 months, but this will not last forever. Market has so many phases, bear phases, bull phases, and sideways consolidations. So idea is to find out, because if we study the historical data or maybe the what has happened in the history, so the market has many things which are constant. And as I was into reading so many books, so one thing was common where all the different people have a consensus, that is market. The best learning in market is humility. As soon as we are able to Basically learn this, and the better we are placed. And as rightly said by Pramesh, if people follow a discipline, and if they have some spare cash and opportunities are there for, then obviously we can deploy that cash to our advantage. And additionally, we also know we should not try to time the market. We never know, tomorrow the falls may be more severe, so right. So always SIPs are the best thing which one can do in market. Additionally, those who have good understanding of businesses and have spare cash, they can also do opportunistic, SIPs, or maybe buying the dips, right? But one thing should be very clearly understood: we should not catch the falling knife. If a business which is not fundamentally strong, which doesn't have growth prospect in future, so those it should not be, basically, when we keep in market, our focus is primarily on the price rather than the value of the business. The most important aspect in a business is its value, right? At what value, which value we are buying the business. Price is one thing which can be impacted in short term by certain news and maybe some operator driven activity. But as far as value of the concern, the market is very sane in this. Sooner or later, the actual value of the business is rewarded by the market. So we have no no we were having one more. So anyone from the speakers or maybe audiences want to add or say something, we can make the space more interactive, but keep your talks limited to 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, adding on to your point, like the focus on price. A couple of days ago, I saw a tweet where a person shared that these are the five or six stocks which are below 100, and very soon they can touch 100. And there was a lot of engagement associated with that particular tweet. So, like, whoever fellow investors are there, it is just my suggestion that it doesn't mean that the stock is cheap if it is below 100, and it doesn't mean the stock is very expensive if its price is around 2000 or 3000. The underlying value is always associated with the business. So, and another suggestion is, like, whenever we want to buy a phone or something, we spend some time looking at the specs and all that. But just because technology has made it very easy for us to buy and sell securities, we don't think much before buying. And if a popular Twitter account is tweeting about a specific company, we try to jump in. So please don't do that. And there is a lot of resources that we can use these days. There is Varsity by Zerodha and JST and all others. They keep posting a lot of threads. So it is your hard earned money. So if at all you want to make more money, or if you have the thought of investing money, please do spend some time, because it's your own hard earned money and it's not a game. This money is something you have earned by working from morning to evening. So if you really want to invest money, please spend some time and only then invest in the money, and don't look at 100 rupees, 1000 rupees as stock prices before investing. That is the point I would like to add for what the accidental investor said about the price.
Thanks for adding the valuable point. Rightly said, we should not judge like the businesses which are available at lower cost, perhaps, as he was saying, right, under 100 or maybe so. So they have more chance to appreciate. That is not the case, right? The business are driven by their valuations, and we should always focus on we should also look out for intrinsic value of the businesses, and keeping our margin of safety in the businesses, we try to buy the businesses, good businesses rather, which are available below its intrinsic value, or maybe in case of growth stories which usually keep at premium valuation, they should also be not bought higher than the intrinsic value. So also, additionally, as a part of standard disclaimer, none of the speakers on this panel are SEBI registered, or we are not promoting, or we don't have any kind of we are not promoting anyone, or any suggestions or any recommendations for books and all that the provided to the space are basically for study purposes. So the only intention of holding such spaces is to make them interactive, to learn from each other and grow as a big family. So the only small thing I would request from the audiences is, if you are finding value with our spaces, I would request you to kindly see our handles, and in future also you can get the notification of such spaces. Do like our handles if you find any value. And moreover, the one thing which goes with a person is learning. It is eternal, right? Till the last breath one takes, learning is the one thing which goes along with. So basically, we should keep our health in good shape and keep learning all the nuances, whatever it be, maybe professional lives or maybe this investing or any other asset class you are into. Or additionally, I would say one more thing: the books doesn't make you a good investor, but they can tell you about these situations which can easily be avoided if you see the history of the investing or maybe the equity market. So basically idea of going through different books of all times market cycles and what all basically attributes or data points one needs need to look or screen through for before investing into different businesses. If we are talking about equity and what are the things to look out for mutual fund, you will find different authors and different books for all the asset classes, and historical data as well with the, I mean, basically how much return has been provided by which asset class. So these are basic thing. If we try to start on our own, it won't take much time, but if you think you can master the market in 1 year or maybe 2 years, that would be ignorance. Those who are keeping in market from 2 or 3 or maybe more decades, they themselves say it is very difficult to learn all the nuances of the market. But basically we have to focus on what are the don'ts of market. If we cut down on the don'ts of market, we'll be very better placed, and slowly and gradually we should move up the learning curve. So with this I would request the other speakers to take the, I mean, Pramesh or Rajendra ji, Yash, if you want to add anything to it. Or additionally, I would request the audiences if they have any burning questions or maybe they want to add to the room, they are more than welcome. Please send the audio request to me.
Yeah, thank you, accidental investor. See, one thing I would like to mention three, four things. One which we normally observe whenever a market falls, people remember Warren Buffett or they start reading books. But any day is a good time to read books on stock markets, on psychology, how to understand your own behavior when a market falls like it fell today, right? That's one thing. So make it a, I would suggest, I would recommend it to everyone to make it a daily habit to read. Even if you can read for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, please do that. That's one thing. And second, what does a fall like today, what we saw in the markets, mean to companies or sectors or IPOs? For instance, IPOs which were open, which were planning to open next week, maybe they might delay again, or because the sentiment of market is pretty bad. And if this fall continues, then we might see waiting period getting longer and longer for all these IPOs. And second, uh, days like today, as I mentioned earlier as well, should be welcomed by long-term investors, because days like today provide us the opportunity to put in some amount of capital, if not all, and gradually build our position, gradually build our portfolio, and then play the long game. And third, I would also recommend, I would also suggest all the investors in the market to have a very good look at their portfolio and understand maybe this is the right time to cut your losses, to cut your losers, to build onto your gain winning positions, because it's very difficult for from the behavioral finance aspect. It is very difficult for retail investors or individual investors to cut down their losses or reduce exposure to those companies which have not performed in their portfolios. But days like today provide us the sanity, the perspective, and the understanding. And investing is not for 1 year or 2 year, 3 year. It is a very long journey. And days like today will keep happening. Maybe it is because of Monday effect. If you read last 10 years, 20 years data, such sharp falls have usually happened on Mondays or before a big event. Maybe it is because of global markets, maybe it is because of the FOMC meeting coming up, maybe it is because of the interest rates expectation going higher. No one knows, right? Yesterday also I tweeted about this. I rarely tweet that every year I see people worrying about interest rates, union budgets, state elections, or sometimes general elections and all those things. But very few people actually spend more time in understanding their own risk profile, understanding the businesses in which they are investing, and taking a long term view on the markets, and not get worried about these short terms. See, Nifty has hardly fallen 8 or 9% from the 8,000 highs, right? It is not a deep correction in the market. It is not a recession. Whether you call it whether you look at it statistically or in other way, so this is not recession. A recession does not happen with 8 or 9%, but yes, 8 or 9% or 10% correction in the market provides a very good opportunity.
I think we have lost him. So basically, he was rightly saying, and all the investors who have been keeping for long, or maybe those who have spent a considerable time in the market, they can basically relate to this. And additionally, market में is basically we know आपको suggestion देने के लिए, tips देने के लिए, there are so many social media handles or maybe TV or so many places you find I mean, you will get an opportunity to get tips and all, but basically सवारी सामान की खुद जिम्मेवार है, right? It's your money. सुनो सबकी करो मन की. Your any decision in life should be backed by some rationale, right? ऐसे ही blindly किसी को follow नहीं करना है, किसी को copy नहीं करना है. At the end of the day, if you will be losing, nobody is going to compensate for the loss, right? तो अब बाद में किसी को blame करने से अच्छा है कि भाई आप अपने end से ही scrutiny करें और अपनी जो भी आप एसेट क्लास परचेज करने का सोच रहे हैं उसके बाद आपकी जिम्मेवारी है उसको मतलब लेने से पहले तो है ही है उसके बाद भी आपको मॉनिटर और वी शुड नॉट अटैच इमोशंस विद आवर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स राइट इफ वी हैव मेड अ मिस्टेक वी शुड better realize it if we have realized that the mistake has been made we should cut it down on the with even if we are in loss because a smaller it would be a smaller loss if we keep on delaying that the loss might get bigger right so Pramesh you have anything to add to this. And additionally, I have pinned two tweets to this space, and I once again reiterate I don't have any commercial interest in it. Just like because I personally like these handles, the suggestions of books are very important, be it behavioral investing or other investing. I personally follow these handles, so I am recommend not. I'm just suggesting if you find any value, you can look out for the books and you can get for yourself in case if you people are free to. I mean you should do as you Pramesh.
Yeah, I don't want to add anything to this. Whatever, there's a lot of good things have been spoken. Time for listeners to actually assimilate those thoughts. If they have written somewhere, it's good. Even if it is not there, even if you can recall them, please just go through those comments. And you will be able to be kind of connect to a lot of your mistakes, a lot of your anxieties, a lot of your thought process also. यार ये मेरे को स्टॉक लेना चाहिए था. I think so this guy was right कि dips था तो मैं ले लेता अच्छा रहता. So those kind of things you will be able to connect, and then based on those connections try to find out more opportunities in the marketplace. So whenever it happens again, what will I do? So keep your watch list ready. My watch list is ready. So what will I do when it happens again tomorrow? If there is a fall, one more, let's say for example, a lot of people are now talking about 16,600, assuming it goes to 60,000. I don't know, we don't know, nobody knows. But if it goes to, are you prepared to have some cash in hand available or capital available to invest in some of your choices stocks? If yes, this is a kind of this discussions will help you to look upon those kind of opportunities. Those are actionable items that you should be looking towards this. And we are now looking forward to some questions if anybody has. Thanks.
Thanks, Pramesh. Yeah, rightly said. If people have any kind of questions, we will try to answer them in our capacity. And if we will not be able to answer, we will tell straight away, because we were telling you that these space have been organized with the purpose of mutual learning. See, and it doesn't mean that we are in the speaker panel and we have more knowledge. It is not like that. The idea is to grow as a good investor or maybe a good person with such organizations. So basically, as rightly said by Pramesh, also market में क्या होता है कि normally we see the FOMO, right? When the markets are running near all-time highs, we normally observe fear of missing out or fear of losing out. We are trying to pay any amount at that juncture, but when market falls and when the same business is available at a value, we fear that the market may not fall steeper. But the idea should be, we should be investing in such cases in a staggered manner. We should not deploy all the cash available in one go, right? So it should be like, if there is a 5-10% fall, you deploy one I mean some portion of the cash available with you, and if the market further falls, then additionally you can, I mean, purchase or average out the businesses in such a manner. So this kind of criteria, or maybe whatever suits you. And same is the case in the case of upward averaging, when we have good businesses and the growth story is intact, and we are seeing good numbers when results are declared. So in such cases, we should not hesitate in increasing our position at some higher prices also. So with this, we are once again requesting the audiences, if they have any questions, they can send a request. And if they don't have any questions or they want to add anything to the discussion, they are more than welcome. Or in the meantime, May 27, you want to say something so as to continue with the talks?
Yes, yes. Like I agree with what Pramesh has said, and to everybody who was listening the space, we are not pros at something as we have been given a speaker status. It's just that we have asked, we wanted to talk, so every one of us can share our thoughts, and if anybody is in a capacity to answer, they would answer. Otherwise, we will learn together. But one point that I would like to say is, even I have had my fair share of gamblings. Why I call them gamblings is, I first bought Alok Industries in my personal capacity. That was the first stock I bought because somebody said that they are making masks for COVID. That is the reason I bought it, and that's how unaware I was of how the market starts. But in the last 1.5 year, 2 years, I have learned a lot regarding the markets. So yeah, to put it short, what I'm saying is, once the space is done, if you actually think you want to do something serious in investing, go back and look at your portfolio and see how many number of stocks in your portfolio did you actually buy because you thought that they would be good. But if you have bought it because some famous personality on Twitter bought it, or Rakesh Junjunwala ji bought it, or somebody else who is very big and who has made it who has made it big in investing, don't buy the stocks because they did. And if you did, please use this opportunity to sell them off and start afresh. Why I am saying this is because last 2 years have been very exciting, and on a random basis, any stock you pick, there was a very good chance that you would make at least profits, if not for losses. But the party is over now, and I'm not saying this to scare you people. We can invest and make money in markets, but it won't be as easy and as rosy ride as it has been in the past 2 years. So things will get hard, and from now on, businesses who are actually valuable and who have certain moat around them, they will grow better, and we won't have easy money from now on going forward. And also, one last thing before I conclude is that unless and until you bought a business because you have done analysis, it doesn't matter if you bought it because some Twitter handle person said it, or a mutual fund manager bought it. So for people who think that mutual funds are they charge an expense ratio or something, and you think that you can do direct investing because of these handles and media, the only point that I would like to say is, people whoever are doing investing and sharing their thoughts on investing, they are doing a service to us by trying to educate us, just like how we are sharing wisdom with each other, with every single person in this space. But the people who are running mutual funds, they are running these mutual funds for 1 or 2 decades, and they have experience, and that is the reason they run mutual funds. So for as long as you think that you do not have the enough circle of competence to buy a business, you don't have enough awareness, if you think the HDFC bank will grow for next 10 years like it did in the last 10 years, it's okay. It happens. Everybody is not made the same. And I don't know, I still don't know a lot of stuff about investing. That is why I accept the fact that, okay, I don't know certain things. And that is the reason I buy index funds. I do SIP every month because I feel that the mutual funds are better. If I don't know, I will at least buy what is going to work for sure. So that way, please revisit your portfolios and at least try to get it right this time, because going forward, it's going to be hard. And that is one thing that I would like to add. And I really thank Accidental Investor and Pramesh also for sharing such good thoughts and trying to help each other like this. That's it.
Thanks for your kind words. We have Yogesh. Yogesh, I'll come to you in a moment. So, as May 27 was saying, basically an incident happened in the market. There was one Telegram group which has been booked. I mean, SEBI had some, मतलब बेसिकली सेबी वालों ने छापा मारा और दे गॉट इट, उन्होंने पकड़ा है. तो द बेसिकली द टेलीग्राम ग्रुप व्हिच हैज अ सब्सक्राइबर बेस ऑफ मोर देन 50,000, they used to trick people by sending tips over those telegram channel. And what they used to do, they used to buy those stocks 1 or 2 days prior to giving tips in those basically telegram channel or other social media platforms. And when the other people buy them, and they used to sell their quantities with them. So this was uh, there are many incidents which go unnoticed, and many innocent retail investors lose their hard earned money, or maybe even the very beginners which have ruined the money which they have received from their parents, or maybe their fees or whatever it be. So the very basic thing in market or in any aspect of life, we should try to reason whatever we are doing. We should not blindly trust anyone, right? So blindly trusting anyone is like you are making yourself vulnerable, right? So we should not. We should, if we are learned. If you see, we if you talk about history, when people were not so much learned, and they didn't have experience of different facets of life, they used to shy, and they had a lot of hesitation. As education is growing, social media is growing, people are getting more and more aware, right? Awareness is bringing good things to everyone, right? The hesitation part has been overcome, and they should not be, I mean, उनको बेवकूफ बनाना भी मुश्किल हो गया है. तो idea is, in the beginning everyone makes mistakes, that is fine. But if you keep on committing the same mistake again and again, that is not good for anyone, right? So we have Yogesh sir also in the panel. We will come to you, sir. We have Yogesh in the we have two Yogesh. Okay, Yogesh Dakshat, Dashkat. Okay. So come on, if you have any question or anything to add, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, accidentals. So sorry. First of all, thank you for hosting this space. I think it's a good awareness. I think, and the people will understand more with the today's poll. Definitely, market has these ups and downs, and where we learn. So basically, I just wanted to express, or I can get some recommendation, comments on that also. I generally, what I feel, I invest in stock as well as I invest in mutual funds also. Basically, in index fund, I really love them. So my query or my question is that I have shortlisted one index fund, that is UTI Nifty 200 Momentum 30, which is, I think, last year it has been launched by the AMC. So I think it is trading at a good price. Like it made like 14 rupees higher. Now it is like 13.4 or 42. It is something. So it is good to invest lump sum at this moment, or we shall wait this week. I think that was
Yo-
just a question.
Yogesh, we should not solicit any, I mean, any kind of direct buy or sell or any kind of suggestions in this room. But if you ask us generally,
Hmm. Yeah. Hello.
We
So
lost you
guys,
there. Yeah.
yeah, I'm here. So basically, the audiences, one thing I should like to tell everyone, we should not be taking any, I mean, straightforward buy sell questions, be it on anything. We are not here to promote anything or give any buy sell recommendation. It is a normal space which is meant for learning from each other. As he was asking, it is purely his call. He want to take it or not. We can only suggest if you are getting good thing or you are thinking it is available at a value buy or perhaps as a good buy. If you think the future prospects are good, then obviously you should utilize or you should exploit the dip in the market. Thank you. I think we lost on to Yogesh Chande sir. And those who are new to this space, I will tell Yogesh Chande sir has a very vast experience of 22 years, and he has done LLB and masters in LLB, and he is into various I mean what I uh, he has very wide exposure to the markets, and he has also represented SEBI and various organizations. So basically, when we have him in spaces, the only thing he focus is that due diligence should not be avoided at any cost by anyone, right? Because the market doesn't create wealth on its own, right? Market is basically a medium where the impatient people transfer their money to the patient people, right? So it is very important, whatever be the asset class, try to find out whether it is regulated or not. If it is regulated, then you are in a better position. If it is not regulated, in case anything mishap happens, you won't be in a position to file any complaint. That is good or bad. The idea is to say you should be very diligent in making any decisions. And as far as investing is concerned, I have few book recommendations. The book, there is one book, 100 Beggars by Christopher Mayer. So basically, that book tells about the, I mean, they have collected the historical data in the past, those businesses which has become many beggars. So what are the common things for those businesses? So though people who are into long-term investing, they should definitely look out for such books. They will find great value, and they can add those values in their screening the businesses or entering the businesses. Also they get to know what are the mistakes they should avoid at different investing points. Also we have one book by Pat Dorsey, the five I'm not able to recollect the five ways of successful stock investing, if I'm not mistaken. So that is also a very brilliant book, and that has also, I mean, various chapters dedicated how to read the balance statements and income statement. So various aspects have been covered in such books. So the idea of telling the name of the books is because I myself is studying those books and I am finding great value. And there is also one book, Best Value Investing by Andrew Hunt. So these books are usually, I mean, from the foreign authors, and they are expensive, but those who are able to afford them, I would surely tell them to go through those books. Those are very valuable if you are keeping in market for long term. And apart from that, if anybody from the audiences have any questions, or maybe Pramesh or May 27 have anything to add, otherwise we will wrap up the space, because there is no point in reiterating the same thing again and again. Pramesh, anything you want to add? I think we don't have. May 27, you want to say something for 30 seconds or a minute?
No,
And
I
additionally,
think we have given. Yeah.
so friends, if you are finding value in our talks and if you want to participate in our we are just making our circle big. We will request you, if you are finding value, please do follow our handles, and we will try our best to share our whatever little learnings we have. We try to hold such spaces in future in our capacity, so that we can learn from you people, and we also add value to our learning. So anybody, we still have some time left. If anybody want to ask any question, we may try to take up those questions. You simply have to send a request and then we will accept and make you a speaker. So any questions from the audiences are more than welcome. May 27, any closing remarks before we close this space?
Yeah, I think we have said enough on how the mindset has to be regarding the investing. But one closing remark I would say is if you ever thought that, okay, it is very easy to buy a particular stock, then probably you're getting it wrong. And right now I'm sitting in Hyderabad here, and if a news came to me that some stock is going to be very good for long term, I will assume that already the entire investors or traders, whoever are there in India, they already know about this and they'll be thinking the same way that I do. So before buying anything, know if you know something better than others, or if you try to connect certain dots which others haven't. Otherwise, that whatever optimism is there, it has already been factored into the stock. And of course, it will be very nice if you could encourage us by following us or something. And but also, I'm adding this point: key. It's okay if you don't follow us also, but if there is ever a situation where you want some recommendations regarding book or some doubt, I mean, in the best possible way, whatever we can suggest you without misguiding you all, whatever is there, I think we can help and communicate with each other. We have compounding 24/7 here, and I've been interacting with him for almost 6 months now. We keep interacting and telling each other what our thoughts are on investing. So I think the accidental investor or Pramesh would also be very much open to discuss and share their thoughts irrespective of the followership or not. And that is the reason they have taken so much time and talked at large about investing and took this space. So feel free to reach out to us and DM for any insightful conversations over investing. And thank you for listening patiently to us. That's it from my side.
Yeah, thanks. That's wonderful, basically. So, as very rightly said, we don't have any hidden or any commercial interest, or we are not going to sell anything in future. We just want to organize this space for learning's purpose. And one small vested interest is we just want to grow our family big. So, if you find value, then only like our handles and follow us. If you think we are not adding any value, you are feel free to ignore. That is not an issue, and we won't mind that, because as far as we are learning, that is fine with us. So any closing remarks from Pramesh?
No, nothing from my side. I think so. A lot of things have been covered. And,
So
I would only say one thing to people, which I already said. Whatever your notes that you have made for today, either mental notes or your written notes, please mull it over the night and see how you can make your investing journey better.
yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pramesh. That's really nice of you to add the insight to our space. And basically, once again, I would request the viewers to basically देखो मार्केट कहीं नहीं जा रही है. वी शुड नॉट बी इन अ हरी, राइट? अगर आपके पास पैसा है, आज आपने नहीं खरीदा, इट डजंट मीन दैट टुमारो यू वोंट बी एबल टू बाय एनीथिंग. मार्केट ऑलवेज हैव बियर phases and bull phases, right? At some point in time, in some sector you will find value, and after some sectoral rotation you will find value in other. So basically we have tons and tons of opportunities. We only have to look out, right? For that we have to study. Before spending considerable time in market, we will not be in a position to make sound decisions, and it is very 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 human to make errors, right? So in the beginning, if we make errors, that is fine. And when it comes to diversification, that is for the only purpose. If we make mistakes, the I mean impact is not that we feel we are not fit for the market. So basically we should be studying our risk and rewards, and accordingly we should go for any asset class. And as rightly said by many speakers on our panel, that if you are not comfortable investing directly, so it would be better to take services from a good advisor, or maybe go by a mutual fund route. In that case you will be in a better position, and those who are expert in this market are handling your money. In such case you will obviously uh, won't get return as compared to direct equity. If you are very good at it in equity, you can do wonders, but if you are bad, then obviously you will transfer your money to others. So likewise सबको अपना पता करना बहुत ही जरूरी है कि उनका क्या सर्कल ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंस है, how they should go about their investing, which asset class. So basically आप अगर बेसिक इन्वेस्टिंग की टर्मिनोलॉजीज पढ़ेंगे, इंश्योरेंस, टर्म इंश्योरेंस, इमरजेंसी फंड, देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स मार्केट से रिलेटेड या आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ से, कि भाई सेविंग का कंसेप्ट क्या है, आपकी एक्सपेंसेस आप कैसे कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है 0 to 1। वी बेसिकली डू फ्लॉन्ट फॉर थिंग्स, राइट। अगर आपके पास मान लो आईफोन है, उसका नया वर्जन आ गया, तो आप लोग क्या करते हैं कि भाई आपको फ्लॉन्ट करना है कि मेरे पास i12 है, i3 चाहिए, मेरे को 13 चाहिए। तो आप क्या करते हैं, बेसिकली आपके पास एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट पहले से है, आपके पास एक डिवाइस है, लेकिन फिर भी आपको सिर्फ दिखावे के लिए आप यू आर स्पेंडिंग गुड अमाउंट ऑफ मनी ऑन अ डेप्रिशिएटिंग एसेट, राइट। So basically these things should be taken well care of in initial journey. We are not against consumption, आपको स्पेंड करना चाहिए, जो आपकी नीड है आप स्पेंड करिए, लेकिन आपके पास एक फोन है, आप फिर से दूसरा ले रहे हो, तो बेसिकली यू आर, आई मीन, एडिंग योर मनी टू अ डेप्रिशिएटिंग एसेट, राइट। हाँ, आपके पास एक भी फोन नहीं और आपकी नीड है, इन सच केस यू आर बाइंग, देन इट इज फाइन। दिस इज बेसिकली 0 to 1 कॉन्सेप्ट। तो बेसिकली आप जितनी ज्यादा आपकी सेविंग करेंगे और एक्सपेंसेस को कर्टेल करके और अप्रिशिएटिंग एसेट में आप अपना पैसा लगाएंगे, तो फॉर श्योर ओवर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम यू विल क्रिएट गुड वेल्थ। और so with this, I would say those who have joined have shown great patience in listening to us, and Pramesh, May 27, Yash, and other speakers who have been part of this panel, and one person who has asked a very relevant question. So I would request everyone to basically study, and study. Learn the nuances. That would be very helpful today, tomorrow, or maybe day after tomorrow. So basically, with this, I would like to end this space, and I once again request, if you people find value, please हमारे handle को देखिए. If you find any value, please follow us, and we will try our best to hold such spaces in future. And if you have any suggestions, any questions, you can ask that over our handles on any of the tweet or threads available. We will be happy to answer your questions in our capacity. We will not be fooling you or anything. You can directly ask or tweets. Asking over DM can be personal, and that can also be done, but don't ask for any suggestions or tips. We don't have any tips or any buy sell recommendations, or also we are not here to sell any products or down the line want to trick people or so. We are very honest in whatever we have, with the small learning which we want to share with others. I also participate in so many spaces with the other hosts, so I find value and I join there and I subscribe to their handles because that is adding to my value. So likewise, I'm asking everyone, if you are finding any value, you can join. Otherwise, and one more thing, you should be very considerate इन फॉलोइंग पीपल, मतलब आप फॉलो करो, उससे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन कोई आपको प्योरली टिप्स दे रहा है, स्टॉक्स के नाम बता रहा है, नॉर्मली वी सी हैंडल्स विच आर डायरेक्टली टेलिंग नेम ऑफ द स्क्रिप्ट्स और एनीथिंग, दे हैव मोर पीपल एसोसिएटेड। तो उससे कोई इशू नहीं है, आप एसोसिएट किसी से भी हो सकते हैं, दैट इज योर पर्सनल चॉइस, बट यू शुड नॉट बी इन अ पोजीशन टू गेट योरसेल्फ फूल्ड, ठीक है। अब शेयर के नाम इधर से कॉपी पेस्ट करके सभी कर सकते हैं, कोई बहुत इशू नहीं है, कॉपी पेस्ट इज द इजीएस्ट थिंग, राइट। बट वो सेबी रजिस्टर्ड भी नहीं है, वो पता नहीं किस कैपेसिटी में आप लोगों को टिप्स देते रहते हैं, और आप ये भी नहीं देखते कि बिजनेस की वैल्यूएशन क्या, आप सिंपली नाम देखते हैं और आपने मार्केट के यूफोरिया के चलते उसको आप बाय कर लेते हैं, and you feel trapped at the top of any script or maybe market all time highs. और जब मार्केट थोड़ी बहुत करेक्ट होती है, as we saw today, in such cases you feel like मार्केट तो ट्रैप है, मार्केट तो सट्टा बाजार है, वी वी आर द ओनली वंस टू ब्लेम फॉर, ठीक है। हम अपना पैसा लगा रहे हैं, तो हमारी उससे पहले हमें पूरा उसको स्टडी करना और सारी चीजें उसके इंट्रिकेसीज देखना हमारा फर्ज है। नोबडी एल्स इज गोइंग टू डू दैट फॉर यू, इट इज योर मनी, एनी लॉस एंड एनी प्रॉफिट वुड बी योर्स ओनली, राइट। So with this, I will close today's space. Thank you very much, everyone who has participated, and I would like to hold such spaces in future also. Thank you very much. Do follow us. Bye. Good night.